When shadows fall and spirits howl, zombies stalk and madmen prowl, monsters lurk and victims shiver. Thrills and chills they will deliver. Arise from your graves and get in the mood. It's time to join the Spooky Dudes.
Oh, I love it. If nothing else, I love my intro so much.
It's a great one.
Thank you. Guys, welcome back. It's episode 17 here of Spooky Dudes Live on our new format here, live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. And of course, I got another special guest this week. We got Kyle Putra from Night Art Productions. What's up, Kyle?
Hello, how's it going?
Great. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Not to get in the weeds too far, but I was at the ER with my 8-year-old at 2 in the morning. So that kind of sucks.
A little stress.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. He's cool to hang out with, so it's always fun, even if we're at
good.
the ER. And it's a double ear infection. It could be much worse. Well, Kyle, I think Kyle took the bait when I sent out my indie filmmakers come to me, and then I discovered I had all these messages piled up in my Facebook Messenger things. For some reason, it wasn't getting notifications, so I reached out to him and said, yeah, let's talk. You're indie horror guy. I love indie horror. Let's get together on a Thursday night and do it. That sounds weird, but that's how it happened.
Hey, it worked out, man.
So Kyle sent to me a movie called The Grim Findings of Claudius, and I thought, what are we getting into here? The first thing I thought of was Gladiator, and
Yeah.
it's really nothing like Gladiator, Kyle. I'm
not at all.
I'm not afraid to say it. It's very different, but nevertheless, and I wouldn't consider Gladiator horror either, but this definitely is. So
yeah,
I'm into weird segues, by the way. So we'll just
that's a great one.
So how did all this come together? I mean, it's a tight movie. You've only got 2 people in the cast.
Yeah,
and Alice Winkler and
Brian Papandrea. Is it?
Are you sure it's not Papandrea? Because I've been saying that in my head.
Papandrea, I promise.
Papandrea.
You can ask him one day, I promise, and he'll go, "Yeah, it's Papandrea," but nobody gives he'll just say, "I don't fucking care."
That sounds like what I would imagine he would say. Yeah.
Yeah. The way it came about was at my old job, there used to be this person to come in, and he had these weird mannerisms, right? And I was like, man, I feel like he would kidnap a girl and probably kill her or do something weird with her, right? So that kind of sparked this idea of this little short film I was going to do about this guy and a doll. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, this is kind of cool, but I need to make this farther. So I made it way bigger and made it a full film and kind of got this whole nice idea of the Grim Findings of Claudius. There's a couple things that once you do watch the film, you'll notice that there's a grandma in this film.
Yes.
And I was actually going to have an actual grandma be in the film. But then the grandma that I was going to use passed away. So obviously I couldn't do that. So then I was like, oh, I'll go this other route. And so I'm not going to ruin too much for the movie, but just know there's a grandma in it. And I think it turned out way creepier than what it was originally intended to be. But I also thought it would have been really creepy to have a grandma in it. Because then it's oh, there isn't just, a couple people in this house. So I guess I ruined it anyways, but you don't know yet.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, so it just kind of evolved. I worked on the script for probably about 3 or 4 years of playing around with ideas and just kind of really solidifying what I wanted to do with it. And in this film, I filmed in 3 days. and got all that done, and it was wild because it just shows you how amazing Brian and Alice are with working with them, and just how great they knocked that shit out of the park.
Yeah, and let me say this. I never imagined how close I would be to Brian's mouth.
Yeah.
And I felt very close to his mouth for an
Yeah.
uncomfortable amount of time, for sure. No, for seriously though, like both of their performances, with lesser performances, it doesn't work, you know.
Mhm.
And I think both of them really, everything I've seen them in, they can commit and
Yeah.
just go for it. And he has this like energy of like a wacky sidekick guy, which is kind of, like he kind of played in we talked about Space Babes from Outer Space before. And, in that movie, he's sort of this like wacky hero, like unlikely hero kind of dude. And that's
Yeah.
sort of the vibe I always got from him. And so to see him as this sort of stalkery guy with these over the top happy mannerisms, which fit him perfectly, is like,
Right.
it's a little shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. He just did so much for me, and like everything that I had visualized in my head, like we would shoot a scene and he would do exactly what I fucking needed him to do. And like to try to direct him when he already knew what I wanted was just so phenomenal. And I think what was so great is like my script really showed him and told him what I wanted, and he
Mhm.
was able to do everything I wanted to and more. Like I would have never expected him to, or anybody to be able to do what I wanted. But the moment we started filming, I was like, holy fuck, this is giving me everything that I wanted it to be. And it was awesome. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean it's very difficult to, I mean, it's difficult to make a movie, period. Like it's difficult to act in a movie, direct a movie, whatever. But like when the movie rests on the shoulders of two people, that's very difficult. And if they can't work together and they can't really like make us as the audience buy into it, it's impossible. So I think you're casting. And did you knew them beforehand, right? Like,
Well, so Alice, I worked before on my first film called Experiment 53,
okay.
which was also co-directed by another gentleman named Thomas Peake.
Mhm.
That was our first film that we did together. But before that, I met with Alice to film a movie called Astro Girl from Planet Zoltron. And it's a movie
Hmm.
that sadly never got finished.
Oh
And that's
no.
when I was working with Alice. It didn't get finished because the director and writer of that film, he was going through a lot of things, and so communication kind of stopped. And so we decided to try to resume it at a different time.
Okay.
But I've been in talks with him about trying to make it into just like a short film, compile everything we had together, and just kind of put it together,
Yeah.
or just remaking it in general. But that's when I first like actually started working with Alice. And then when me and Thomas were like, oh, let's finally make this film called Experiment 53. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we were trying to find the lead actress. And I was like, oh, well, I know Alice is really awesome and I'd love to work with her again.
Mhm.
So we messaged her, sent her the script, and she was for it. And she decided to say yes. So while we were filming Experiment 53, I was working on the Grim Findings of Claudius, and I was talking to her and I was like, hey, look, I would really love you to be this girl in this play, this script. And so I sent it to her and she loved it. So that's what got her. And then Brian, I saw at Days of the Dead Indie in like 2021,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize he made his own movies. So I was like, oh, fuck. So, I was talking to him about there and everything. And then I messaged him before I was going to be a vendor at Days of the Dead Chicago. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I would love for you to be Claudius in my film. I'll bring you the script to Chicago and all this fun stuff. So I brought it to him, and he read it and he loved it. And he was like, yeah, man, sign me up. Let's go. So I was able to get both of them. And when we started filming, it was this great product that you have in front of you. So
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, I was thrilled with it, and I'm amazed when people can finish a movie, period, like finish making a
Mm,
movie, period. So when you can do something under, such constraints and everybody work together, and I know these things have like, like nobody that's been on the show yet does this as their primary source of income. I haven't had a
right.
single person that isn't moonlighting as a filmmaker, right? Um, it's their passion, but like, it's like
It's a
I
lot,
don't
man.
I
You
don't
know,
podcast for my income, right?
right.
So it's passion, and that's kind of the horror community, and like the glue that holds us all together is that we're all just passionate about this spooky shit,
Oh yeah.
and whatever we do to make that. Well, tell me about Experiment 53, because I have not seen that one yet. So.
Yeah, no. So Experiment 53 is a nice grindhousey slasher film. And, it was the first film that I made with Thomas Peake, and we were just kind of going through it. And so Experiment 53 was more or less our film school. So I learned a lot by making Experiment 53. So, a lot was like, my camera angles I wanted to work on, because Experiment 53, I co-directed, I shot it all, and I edited it. So I did all three of those things while I was doing Experiment 53, and I just learned a lot of like what I wanted and how I wanted to do it.
Mhm.
And I still think it turned out really well. There's some shots in that movie that I think are phenomenal, and like it's just really cool for like indie world. But there was a lot of audio issues, and so I tried to fix that with Claudius, but I didn't know how to be organized with Claudius with audio and video, because that was my second time doing audio, and I still was just really iffy with it, because I didn't do audio, but I had my buddy with me that does audio named Zach Clifton. He was there recording it all, and we were trying to make it sound better, which we did a good job, but I didn't get to spend the time that I wanted to really perfect the audio on Claudius.
Right.
But it was just more or less like Experiment 53 is a tad bit more, it's bloodier than Claudius, but there's some things that I wish we would have fixed, and things that like I didn't notice when I first edited it. So there's things where I need to like really, I can't think of the word, but like just make it tighter. That's the word I want. So with Claudius, when I was editing, I was really trying to make those scenes tight and make the editing tighter, and I think I achieved that with this film.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah, it's crazy because Claudius was 100% mine. I wrote it, I directed it, I filmed it, and I edited. So I just did everything besides the acting, obviously. And so, but I had Zach on set doing sound, and I had Thomas being a second camera guy for me. But other than that, it was just all me, it was wild. A much smaller cast, like you said. Where Experiment 53, I think we had about 8 people that we were in that cast, and then yeah.
Well, and a lot of indie films will have sound issues and things like that.
Yeah.
And editing. I mean, you can't. First off, you can't judge these. You can't go look at like a Ridley Scott movie or like a Stanley Kubrick movie and then compare it. You know what I'm saying? To an indie, it's not fair. But I mean, I thought the sound and editing was great.
Thank you.
In Claudius, yeah. And we have our first ridiculous, nonsensical comment of the night. Thank you, Brandon Posey, whoever you are. May the 5th be tomorrow.
Good one, man. I love it.
Because today's May the 4th, and
tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo.
Kyle is wearing his Star Wars shirt. I didn't even mention your shirt. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting, so I had to get it going.
I should have thought of Star Wars themed questions for the night. But so what's next? I mean, Claudius is on Blu-ray now.
Yep.
Experiment 53 is on Blu-ray.
People can get the Claudius Blu-ray from me at Days of the Dead Indie. I will have a booth set up there. Brian Papandrea is going to be there with me as well, selling his films. So
he'll be next to his evil twin, Brian Papandrea.
Yeah. And I'll be Papandrea. And then you could just message me on Facebook if you want a Blu-ray copy. I can send it to you and just go from there. But some of my next works coming up, I have a short film called The Whole of the Devil Girls that I'm going to be working on with Jessa Daisy. Jessa Flux is what her acting name is.
She's coming to Frankencon.
Yeah,
she will
she
be
is.
She'll be with Donald Farmer. So
yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But it'll also have Alice Winkler in it. It'll also have my friends Justin Zacharias and Sean Reese, which are in a band called Cocaine Culture. So if you like black metal style music, Cocaine Culture is really fucking awesome. I've done a couple music videos for them, so I just want to plug them. Also, Zach Clifton is in that. He does all their audio recording and obviously plays in the band. And then you also have Cody Piercy, which is the vocalist, he's a monster at vocals. So just to plug them real quick. But then I also have another movie called The Fear of Trees, which is a kind of a Silent Hill inspired film.
Nice.
Mixed with some Neon Genesis. It's a movie that I've been working on for years of trying to get the script right and getting my metaphors all making sense. That one's going to be my baby. It's a movie that I really want A24 to produce it because I feel like it will fit in their genre of horror. Somebody posted on like the internet and they're like, A24 horror isn't a genre. And then it goes, yeah, it is. They have it. There's a style to that. There's a vibe to that. In my opinion, you look at The Witch, you look at It Comes at Night, you look at Midsummer, they have this nice camera work. They have the great music. They have this natural lighting. They have so much. And that's what I think it could fit into. But The Fear of Trees is something that I hold near and dear. And that is the movie that I truly want to get right. So that's like something I just keep not putting off necessarily, but making sure that all my P's and Q's are there because I want it to be perfect.
Okay, so I need to see that one. I'm a big Silent Hill guy.
Yeah, I love Silent Hill. It's one of my biggest inspirations of why I love horror so much.
Yeah.
But I'm in the last stage of rewriting the script and just making it flow really well. And then I also have another movie that is going to be a blaxploitation film. It's called Robo Negro, which is a mix between The Boondocks and RoboCop. So I really want to do something awesome. I have some great people behind me on this one. I have my buddy Brendan Sharp, which is going to be helping me write the script. Nice. It's going to be this. I really want the vibes of like, the nice yellows and the nice sunshine Friday feel. Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. But I also want a lot of the grittiness from RoboCop. So I want a lot of blood and I want some other stuff. But I'm also doing it where there's animated shorts, not shorts, but animated scenes in the film as well. So it's going to be a lot of live action mixed with some animated stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah, that one's still in a lot of development stages. I have the script halfway written. Yeah. So it's going to be a great time.
Man, you got a lot of cool stuff coming out.
I like to think so. So yeah, if any producers are looking to get behind some really awesome stuff that's not just slasher films, I'm more about like the metaphors and just getting out things that you don't see every day. Hit me up.
There you go. Y'all get with Kyle.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kyle can do a slasher film too. I have faith in him.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I definitely like to do one at some point.
You know what, Kyle? You wear clothes, right? You're typically
sometimes I wear clothes. I don't have clothes on underneath this though.
Oh, well, that's excellent because that's the second part of our shows coming up, the strip section. Okay, but do you ever wear t-shirts? Like I'm wearing a t-shirt and short sleeve. Well, there's a wonderful little company online called Fright Rags. If you guys have never heard of them,
Fright Rags is amazing. I should have wore one of the shirts I have from them.
I'll go get some out of I have a bucket of them in my room. Fright Rags is amazing, guys. Just like Kyle just said, they've got shirts, socks, PJ pants. I will swear by those PJ pants. If you haven't tried them, they're the silkiest. They stretch quite a bit. They give you plenty of room to breathe and grow. If you're like me and you like to have an extra helping of casserole every once in a while, go to
trading cards.
Yes, trading cards. Oh,
they have awesome trading cards
and those little figurines now. They got the little injection
the
molded
wax ones.
Yeah,
wax molds.
Those. I mean, guys, listen. Don't even listen to us talking about it. Go to the damn website, fright-rags.com.
Off.
Use code SpookyDudes10. Now, here's the catch. Let me explain this. You can only use it once. So everything you want, throw it in the cart, even if it's on discount, clearance, whatever. You'll get 10% off.
Do it, dudes. It's perfect.
Save it for Christmas. Buy shit for your whole family. Fright-rags.com. Okay, wonderful sponsor. So, Kyle, let's talk about what got you into horror. I think you already alluded to it a little bit, but let's go as far back as you can remember. What is the first horror film you remember watching?
Puppet Master 4, I think, which is crazy. I was way too young. I think it was 4 because I've watched 1 through 3. There's a specific scene that I remember, and it scarred me as a child. And it was Tunneler coming up from a grave and spinning through this guy's hand, and there's blood everywhere. And I've always remembered that. And I know I couldn't have been more than 3 years old. So it's one of those, because I've watched 1 through 3 recently with my wife, and I was like, I got to find this fucking movie. And I still haven't found it, but I remember it being a Puppet Master movie, and it fucked me up.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Jeff Burr is going to be at Bride of Frankencon.
Jeff Burr, everybody.
Jeff Burr that directed Puppet Master 4, Texas Chainsaw 3, Pumpkinhead 2,
and a lot of other stuff.
Stepfather 2, From a Whisper to a Scream. I'm a slow reader.
No, you're good.
We think he's going to be there. He lives about 20 minutes from my house, apparently.
Oh,
so wow. I may have to just go pick him up and just say, hey, Jeff, we're going for tacos and FrankenCon. Let's roll.
Let's go. But yeah, I think that was the earliest. What really solidified my love for horror. I said Silent Hill earlier just because a lot of the metaphors, the music by Akira Yamamoto is fucking perfect.
Oh, dude.
Every soundtrack of each Silent Hill is just masterful. And then Hellraiser is a huge influence. Anything by Clive Barker is, one of my favorite things because I love his imagery and I love his, his metaphors and stuff. But it also gets into body horror, and I'm a huge body horror fan. So I love David Cronenberg, Videodrome, The Brood.
Oh, Brood's great.
He's just so good. David Cronenberg's the fucking man. Naked Lunch, all that wild puppeteering shit. And then it also goes into I love David Lynch because you look at Eraserhead and you look at Lost Highway and you look at Blue Velvet and everybody loves Twin Peaks, but god damn, all his movies are just so good.
Yeah. I'm a big Mulholland Drive guy. I really like that movie.
Which is awesome. Yeah. Mulholland Drive's great. And then you also have Dario Argento, which is awesome. All his colors and Goblin behind his soundtracks. And if you can't tell, I love visual thing. I love visualizing movies and things that make me go, what the fuck did I just watch? So you look at movies like Society. The ending to Society is one of the most mind-blowing fucking endings I've ever had in my entire life.
Speaking of Society, Brian Bremer is going to be at Bride of Frankencon.
Hell yeah. See, I'm just plugging away.
This whole episode is just to convince you to drive 8 hours to Frankencon. That's all this was.
Right. Just let me get a table. Let me sell Claudius. I'll give you a free copy. I'll pay for the table too. I don't care. But that'll be another.
Let me talk to a guy. Let me talk to a guy.
But yeah, so I love body horror. I love stuff like that. But I also like, a movie that's not necessarily horror, but is always on the top 10 most disturbing films. I'm a huge Gaspar Noé fan. So Irreversible is a movie that when I watched it completely explained in my fucking mind. And I was like, oh shit, like this is something that you just can't look away from, and you need to look away from it.
I still haven't watched it.
It's so good. It's amazing. It blows my mind how this man that was high as fuck making this movie and just made it so good. I don't know. That's just my opinion anyways.
There's only one thing people ever talk about with that movie, though. It's
the scene. Yeah, the scene is brutal, man. It's crazy. But and then also I got not necessarily horror, but like a gothic horror. I love Guillermo del Toro. The amount of love and world building that he's able to do is just phenomenal. And I love him for that.
You talk about visual guy. I mean, his movies have even if you don't care for them story wise, like the eye candy is amazing. Guillermo del Toro stuff.
All of it too. You know, you got Devil's Backbone, you have Mimic, and you have Pacific Rim, which in my opinion is not that great of a movie, but it's an amazing looking movie. You know,
it's a cool concept. Like we all thought it was going to be really cool to have these dudes, you know, piloting mechs and whatever, fighting kaiju, but it's like, yeah, the movie fell a little flat for me too.
Right.
But it's fun. I mean, it's a fun movie. I mean, anytime you got giant lizard dudes and giant robots, you know, I'll at least give it a shot.
Hell yeah. And then, you know, one more of like my inspirations. I know you didn't really ask for inspirations, but just like what got me into horror.
Yeah, it's all good.
John Waters, of course, was another big one for me. So, you know, that's kind of like where I'm at. Clive Barker, David Cronenberg, David Lynch, Guillermo del Toro, and John Waters, and Gaspar Noé.
Okay, so sorry, I got tongue tied. Throw out another podcast suggestion. Do you ever listen to Postmortem with Mick Garris?
I've only listened to a couple episodes, and I need to listen to him more.
Have you listened to the one with Clive Barker?
No, I need to listen to that.
It's from a year or two ago. Download it. It's like I've never heard. I never would think listening to Clive Barker on a podcast he would sound so happy and exuberant and full of life and stuff. And that dude just seems like he'd be cool to like sit down and just, you know, have lunch with. Like he's so passionate about this stuff, you know.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I met him at Days of Dead Chicago in like 2018, I think 2019. And that was like one of my greatest moments in my life, was just meeting him. And I asked him if he ever thought about like making The Thief of Always into like an animated movie. And he told me like there was talks of making it, and he sat there and talked with everybody so long. And it's just so amazing to, you know, be able to meet that guy. And you just listen to interviews from back in the 80s and 90s and you go, man, this guy fucking did it. And like, he's just so cool. And he gave a shit about what he was doing.
Yeah. He check that out. You'll that's literally one of the best like hours of podcasting I've listened to in the past like decade. It was really good.
I'll definitely listen to that. I didn't know he did it with Clive Barker. I listened to a lot of Adam Green's podcast.
Yeah, and, Movie Crypt.
Yep. And then I also listened to Charles Brand's podcast with people. So
the Full Moon Freak Show.
Yeah, Full Moon podcast or something. Yeah.
It's good. I like that one too. He got a little repetitious. He'd keep telling the same story every episode because somehow the same thing would come up, and I get it. But dude, I can't. There was 2 episodes of Mick Garris around the same time. One was Clive, and I can't remember the other one, but both of them were just so good because, you know, sometimes the interviews are like, I mean, they're, you know, I always want to listen to people talk and like hear their take on things, but like with him, it was I was sitting there like feeling the energy of the interview the whole time, you know, which you don't always get, you know. So I can't recommend that one enough. Okay, so we got your origin story. Now what is your favorite subgenre and why is it slashers? Because you already shit talked slashers.
Favorite subgenre is just anything that makes me go, I just want anything to wow me.
Yeah.
To bring up some, let's talk about the movie Mandy. Mandy's a super wild movie that you just kind of watch and you just go, man, holy shit, what am I watching? Another one is Annihilation with Natalie Portman.
Oh, dude,
that
yes.
movie gets super cool.
Yeah, it
And
does.
that whole bear scene, like I got goosebumps watching that. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
So
dude.
more like a sci-fi horror. I'm really into Ex Machina. Amazing film.
I still haven't seen that one.
Oh, you got to watch that film. That film's super good.
That's
Just
what I've heard.
to go back to like the Grim Findings of Claudius of how the interaction is between two people. You watch Ex Machina and you see the interactions between two people, quotations, and you go, this is wild. This could definitely be something that could happen and never know it. And then I'm trying to think of something else. Hagazusa. It's not sci-fi. It's more pagan.
I haven't watched it yet. I started it and couldn't. I didn't. I end up falling asleep. Usually not because the movie's boring or bad, but because I'm tired and I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that one's it's a slow burn for sure. But Hagazusa is another visually beautiful movie and just super dark and demented. There's a scene in that you don't see a lot in a movie, which I'm always for. Like, I love movies that kind of push a boundary, and that boundary is pushed, and you go, this is disgusting. Like, let's move the fuck on.
Oh, okay. So it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I have to answer questions a lot. I got a lot of friends who maybe dabble in horror, right? But they don't, or they dabble in genre film. Let's just say that, right? Because that's the pinky out way to talk about stuff. So they dabble in genre film, but when I'm like, oh, I was over here watching, zombie strippers or, just throw out any ridiculous title. Don't fuck in the woods too.
Bitch slap.
Bitch slap, run, bitch, run, stuff like that. And, they're like, why do you want to watch this stuff? Like, because, if you compare it pixel to pixel to like some mainstream movie that won an Oscar or something, I'm sure you're going to be like, well, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a better movie. I'm like, it may be, but
it's a totally different genre.
I love that movie, but like the thing is, when you've watched so many movies and you've watched them for years and years, it's like just finding something you said to put that pushes the envelope or sort of, I haven't seen that before. There's a lot of stuff that's just weird. And it's not even that it pushes the envelope, but it's that I can sit there having watched thousands of movies at this point and go, I don't know what's about to happen in the next scene. It doesn't even have to be that crazy, but I don't know what's about to happen because this filmmaker is so unique,
Right. I think a perfect example is the movie called Lamb. I don't know if you've watched Lamb yet.
I haven't watched it yet. No.
That movie just is creepy. It's not even it's not even really a horror film, but it's just creepy,
I watched Pig. I loved Pig. Pig was amazing.
Right.
I don't think it was horror,
but his fucking pig back.
That movie, I like lost my mind over that movie because I thought it was just so good, and everybody's like, it was okay. I'm like, no, it's really good. Like, you got to understand that Nick Cage, for all the internet crap that has been said about him over the years, and the memes and the faces and stuff, this dude has this very subdued, like, just natural, emotional, raw performance. He doesn't have to go nuts, man. He just takes over the scene by just existing and being great. So it's
right.
We got way off on a tangent there, but I like
That's okay. Nicolas Cage is great.
Okay. I agree. Now we got to be negative though, Kyle. What is your least favorite subgenre? People cop out of this question all the time.
Listen, I'll tell you my least favorite horror movie. A movie that I actually think is fucking trash.
Okay.
Hostel. I hate Hostel. I think that movie fucking sucks. Period. 100%. Eli Roth. All right, here's the subgenre I don't like.
Oh my
I don't like anything by Eli Roth except Cabin Fever. Everything else I think is he pussies out. So let's talk about Green Inferno.
Oh,
super pumped about Green Inferno because I was like, hell yeah, gruesome ass movie in the theater. Like, let me go see it. And then he's sitting here making fucking fart jokes. And then he wusses out on the clit cutting scene, and I'm just like, man, come on, dude. You could have done something so much better.
If you've watched Cannibal Holocaust and then you go watch Green Inferno, I cannot see how you're not. I mean, I don't want to say disappointed, but I can't see how you'd be shocked by anything.
No, but even watching like Cannibal Ferox, you know, I just was hoping he would. I think what my issue was is I just had so much hope of like seeing something brutal in theaters. And when I went and watched it and like none of it was as brutal as I wanted it to be, I was just disappointed. I go, oh, cool. It's just another Eli Roth film. Now, with all that said, I will 100% go see Thanksgiving in theaters. So that was his, right? The Thanksgiving.
Well, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the killer turkey.
Yep.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
Yep.
Here we go. Beta Pup Max Dennis says, I'm still not sure what this name means. Jungle Holocaust is my jam. Thank you for tuning in, by the way.
Oh yeah, Dennis. Dude. Jungle Holocaust. That's the same as no, I'm thinking of a different film. I don't have Jungle Holocaust.
Is it Bruno Mattei or
I was thinking it was Dr. Fuck, what is that movie? It's set.
No, it is Ruggero Deodato, so it's the same director as Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, I was thinking of Dr. Butcher. What's the other name of this one?
Zombie Holocaust.
That's what it is. Zombie Holocaust.
Yeah, these two names don't
No.
really go together.
I need to watch Jungle Holocaust. I haven't watched that one.
Called us out. It's Deodato. See, confirmed. And good Google deal. Confirmed. Jungle Holocaust is on Tubi, guys. And if you guys aren't aware of the good news of Tubi, it is free. They pay filmmakers when you watch their stuff. It's commercial supported. It's okay. Right. You can still watch commercials. It won't kill you. And they, like I said, they pay indie filmmakers. So, you know,
which is amazing. Definitely go on there. There's a lot of indie films on there, and it's amazing. Such a great platform for all of us, for sure.
It is great. And like, you know, look, I like Shudder. I'm a big fan of Shudder, but like if you're like me and I think Kyle, you know, he's another brother here, and we like to scrape a little lower in the barrel sometimes and find that grimy shit.
Oh yeah.
The 42nd Street stuff. So that's going to be on Tubi more than Shudder right now. I mean, it ebbs and flows. I kind of like their curation going from everything from, you know, very art house to very trashy.
Oh yeah.
But Tubi's whatever Tubi's doing, it feels right.
And they don't have like weird requirements either. Like you don't have to film with a certain camera on this platform and all that weird shit. So it makes it really accessible, which is awesome.
Yeah. Are you hearing that tone, by the way, when it goes off?
I'm not hearing that tone.
Perfect. Okay. I forgot to mute one of my messenger programs. Okay, here we go. Do you want to get nostalgic with me?
Yeah.
What is a VHS cover you remember from the video store? How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh Jesus, I'm 10 years older than you. Oh my God. Did you ever go in a video store? Are you old enough to...
Yeah, but not in the VHS days. Granted, like Family Video had VHSs.
Sure.
And I had VHSs as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I see all the stuff behind you. Obviously, you're a collector. Oh, yeah. You're like me. I've got shit all over the place. But like just some VHS cover that like the first time I say the word VHS, it pops in your head and you're like, that picture stands out.
Rockadoodle and Batman Beyond.
Wow, I walked into that one. I did not say horror at all. Rockadoodle. Nope. I think I can remember Rockadoodle. I remember the movie. Oh, yeah. The
Elvis turkey. Not turkey.
Monteclair. That's Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I haven't seen Rockadoodle in a minute.
But and another like actual serious one is Goosebumps the Haunted Mask. One of my all-time favorite VHS's, favorite episodes. let's step back a question. That's like another big inspiration is just watching that great Halloween vibe, that great holiday feel of an October film.
Yeah.
You know, that's a movie, that's an episode I always try to watch during October because it gives you those vibes and that nostalgia feeling. But yeah, just that cover alone is one of the OGs.
You just gave me a new question to ask.
Okay. Favorite October movie?
Yep. Oh, we got another comment too here.
Yeah, let's
Dennis is burning us up.
Oh, Faces of Death and Mondo Magic. Hell yeah, dude. This
I don't
guy
remember
likes the
Mondo
brutal ass
Magic.
shit.
Faces of Death, I remember having like all the warnings. I went to see one of them. I lived in Morristown, Tennessee for a while where they filmed Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And one night at the local theater at the mall, they were doing a midnight showing of, I think, Faces of Death 3. And we went there, my friend and I, we were the only two people that bought tickets in the whole town. Nobody else came. And so the theater just shut down. They shut everything down because it was just us, and they locked the doors, and they all came in and just sat down behind us and watched the movie. And we got like a certificate of survival at the end of it. And
that sounds awesome.
I hope I have that somewhere. I kind of doubt I do, but
that'd be cool.
It was pretty cool. I have no idea what Mondo Magic is though.
Yeah, he's in the iceberg for sure. Beta Pup, if you haven't yet, I'm sure you have. Amityville Vibrator. You should definitely check out as well. That might be up your alley. Another indie film, but super wild.
Okay. I got to ask, is it porn or is it using the...
It's a mix. It's
okay.
Super wild. Just watch it.
Okay. Amityville has been stamped on everything from like
hell yeah,
Amityville Karen, Amityville Toilet, Amityville in the Hood, Amityville... Yep. I'm surprised there's not one called like Amityville in the Amityville yet.
Right.
Here's another one. Oh, thank you. I'll look after Olga's girls.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Is that a Nazi exploitation thingy? I just watched a documentary about those fascism on a thread. It's on Tubi. It's got Diane Thorne who played Ilsa in those movies. It's a great documentary. I mean, that's just it's such a weird subgenre, man. Like,
oh yeah.
It's
like up there with like nunsploitation too. Like all those nun movies and shit.
Flying Nun. Okay, the favorite type of physical media or favorite era.
This might be because of my age. I fucking love Blu-rays. My whole room is nothing but Blu-rays. You can't be mad about Blu-rays. It's the perfect media. All the special features, the clarity, even like movies that you would never thought were that old by watching a Blu-ray. Like, I think Alien is one of the best looking Blu-rays for an older movie, because you watch that and you go, this was made in 79? You would have thought this was made a year ago. But you look at movies like Hellraiser, and you look at movies like Necromantic and shit. Like, you look at a movie like Necromantic, which was bootlegged to hell, and you couldn't even fucking see it on VHS anymore. And then you have this nice Blu-ray copy, and you go, yeah, this movie's fucking gross. Like, but I get the nostalgia of like VHS. You know, I buy VHSs because I'm a hoarder. And so there's a lot of horror movies I have on VHS, and you want that grittiness, darkness feel because you want to only see half the movie. But I think Blu-ray is just the way to go on colors. You know, you once again, to bring up Dario Argento, Suspiria on Blu-ray, it's beautiful. You can't make that movie look any better. Or you look at, you know, Hellraiser with all the makeup, you get to see the art and the skill that actually went into these movies on Blu-ray. You know, a lot of people love 4K. I buy 4Ks, but I don't watch them on the regular because I think Blu-ray is still just as good as 4K, especially with these older films.
Yeah. But 4K may be a stretch for some of the older stuff. Like, I do like that it's non-region blocked though.
Which is wonderful. But I bought a region-free Blu-ray player, so I'm putting it to use.
Yeah, I need to do that. I still haven't, but
yeah,
I'll get there. And I'm with you too. I understand the nostalgia for VHS because I grew up I was born in 81. So, I mean, I was surrounded by tapes and at the video store every weekend and I loved it. But where the nostalgia starts and stops for me is the artwork. Like the tape, magnetic media is sort of shitty. Like it's not a good looking format at all. And it degrades like, microscopically every time you watch and rewind.
Right.
And so it's whatever. And I don't even have to ask you the next one. Do you still collect and watch movies on physical media? I can see behind you.
Oh yeah, dude. I am a Blu-ray fiend, man.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of Shout Factory there.
Yeah.
That is great. How do you feel about controversy? Do you like to get controversial?
I like it just for the fact that I think if you're not being controversial, you're falling in line with cancel culture.
Oh, hold that thought. Let's not spoil it. Okay. Well, here's your first controversial question.
Okay.
What are your thoughts and feelings about AI generated art?
See, that's the problem. I don't like it because I think you should be able to support your friends. If you're okay with spending $40 on an AI generated photo, you should spend that $40 for your friend that's an artist that's worth more than $40. What I hate about AI generation stuff is when I go to conventions and I go to a table and this guy has nothing but AI art for sale, that's garbage to me. I'm not about that shit at all. Like you should not be able to make money on AI art. But I think everybody should support their friends and support artists because they are living, breathing people that are starving just like everybody else. So help them besides buying an AI thing. But to fuck around with an AI art thing, fucking do it. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, go for it. Have fun with it and do whatever you want. But to buy AI art, I think is pointless and a waste of time.
I'm with you. Like I won't even say to buy it, but like if you're feeding in, like, say you're an artist, you're a graphic artist, you draw, here you go. You made this art. A guy drew this. I bought it. I bought the design from an artist. His name's Sla Muerta. He does a lot of cover art for death metal bands and stuff like that. And he's awesome. He's done like 3 designs for me. Like if you took this design that I paid for and then fed it into Midjourney or whatever AI program there is, that's sort of where I'm like, that sucks. It's the same as, somebody, drew a line between that and like someone painting a picture of Jason and selling it at a con. And while I get it that guy doesn't own the IP, he doesn't own Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees, he doesn't own that stuff, but he still had to make it out of nothing. Like AI is a bunch of code written by other people and you're prompting it to do things. It's sucked in all this information from other artists and things like that, driven by other humans. So all you're really doing is paying for it to do stuff and manipulating something that's already made and making creepy little hands with 15 fingers and all that stuff.
Right.
And I got a friend, and I'll give him another shout out. John Devlin, my buddy. He is a filmmaker as well, behind Erecting a Monster, which is a movie about a giant monster penis, which won an award at the first FrankenCon. It happened to be the award awarded by me, and because I felt like it was the most grindhousey movie there, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But he's a big proponent of AI art. But I also think, he sees it as a tool, and I don't think he would say rip off the artist and things like that. I think there's a line. If you're just selling prints of AI art at a con, chances are you're probably up to some shady shit. You fed someone else's photography or something in there. You probably didn't do it all on your own.
Granted, I haven't seen that happen, but I would hate to see that happen. Like that shit would piss me off.
I think
it's like when
I
I
haven't
see
seen it happen yet either. The bootleg. Well, okay, hold on. We'll get to there too.
Okay.
All right, let's stay in the controversial lane here. And you mentioned the C word earlier, but what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on cancel culture and sort of canceling a movie because of the behavior of someone who was behind the making of it? So canceling all of the Dimension stuff because the Weinsteins, or
Right. And that
Jeepers
sucks
Creepers
because
or something.
right. See, that's tough because separate the art from the artist first and foremost, but
Right.
also like fuck Victor Salvia,
Right. Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fuck him. But Jeepers Creepers is a nostalgia movie for me. I love the first Jeepers Creepers movie. I think it's a great movie.
It's a good
The
movie.
actors that are in that movie are not garbage, so why hate them for that?
Sure.
And it's just stuff like that. But you look at a movie that recently came out, like so Nicolas Cage movie, The Color.
Oh, Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space. That director got found out that he beat his wife. Fuck him for that.
Right.
But what was great about that is that Diabolic DVD, all the 4Ks they had, every one they sold, they did half the money that they made from it and donated it to battered women shelters. Amazing.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
what
really
a bigger
awesome.
slap to face that guy. Fuck him. But everybody's innocent until proven guilty is a big thing. You look at Johnny Depp, like he got fired from Pirates of the Caribbean, but come to find out he didn't beat Amber Heard, so you just
and it
made him
probably
lose
was
all
the
that
opposite.
money.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
probably
So
beat
now,
him.
granted, Johnny Depp is a well-loved man and he's huge in Hollywood and all that shit, but
Sure.
at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm gonna like Jeepers Creepers my whole life, but fuck Victor Salvia. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, I'm with you, man. And like I'm not at the point where I don't have to soapbox it every time. Like
No.
I felt the need to I didn't feel the need to like browbeat people not to watch it, but I did feel the need to tell people, well, that guy is pretty nasty.
Right.
And this isn't not a rumor thing. Like
No.
he went to jail.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, I still have never seen Clown House, and I would love to see that film. I've never seen it. If it came out on Blu-ray, I would immediately buy it because as fucked up as the whole situation is, I still want to watch that movie because I've never seen it. It's that controversial thing of like, you look at Caribbean film, it's fucked up, but you still want to watch it.
I don't think that Clown House is ever going to see a commercial release.
Never. No,
you're
correct. You're 100% correct.
It is absolutely being bootlegged.
Yes.
All over the damn place. Speaking of which, let's just stay in the lane of controversy. Then we'll get back to fun, fluffy shit.
No, you're good.
What are your thoughts on bootlegging out of print titles specifically?
Here's the biggest thing. So the past few horror hounds in Cincinnati, there's been a guy that has a whole bunch of bootleg movies.
Is it the VHS PS guy?
I think so.
From New York? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I hate it because it takes up too much space. And it's movies that like already have Blu-ray releases.
Oh, is it? I thought
like he has like Dawn of the Dead on Blu-ray. He has Critters and all that shit. But movies like Meet the Feebles, The Keep, that type of shit.
Fright Night 2, Trick or Treat, which finally is now getting a Blu-ray from Synops. Thank God.
About fucking time. But movies like that, they need to be bootleg because I want them. And I wish they would just get, somebody be able to buy the rights to them so I could get a nice Blu-ray. Yeah. But until then, I'm going to buy a bootleg of fucking Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles and Fright Night 2. Like, I have some bootlegs in my collection because they didn't get released on Blu-ray. Prime example, Netflix movies. The Ritual highly deserves a Blu-ray, but we can't buy it because it's forever stuck in digital media. Megan is Missing. You look at just all that stuff where, Barbarian, a huge box office hit, not getting a Blu-ray release. Why the fuck not? So if you've noticed, Barbarian came out last year and has not had a single Blu-ray release, not even in Europe.
That is weird.
Yeah. And it's because these companies don't want to spend the money on physical media, even though people are buying them. So
I got to think, there's you and I, we're still buying it. the people who buy it buy a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't even touch it anymore. I think that's the problem, right?
You say that, but at the same time, like I'm over here spending $100 on the Wicker Man. I'm over here spending $150 on Dawn of the Dead. Physical media is in its golden age, in my opinion, because we're finally getting those movies like Trick or Treat or The Mutilator or Blood Rage on this great media that's not $1 million to spend on shit quality, formats.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. There's not a lot of people out there buying it, but at the same time, look how fast certain steelbooks are selling out. Look, there's a reason why Best Buy, even though has a two-sided movie thing, they're constantly coming out with 4K steelbooks and shit, and people are buying them out. So that to me is what's weird about it.
I have a Beta Pup Max Dennis says again, I have a bootleg of that Disney movie. Like, I wanted to see it. I'm assuming we're talking about Song of the South.
That's what I would think. But yeah, there's another one. Yeah. Granted, cancel culture, you can't watch that anymore. But it's just a movie that it doesn't make my Blu-ray collection complete anymore. Because I would love to have all that or the original cuts of everything and, stuff like that. So bootlegs are necessary to an extent, but when we have so many great people out there like Vinegar Syndrome and Synops and, all of them, like the VHS, HS, whatever guy, he had
VHS.
Yeah. Sorry.
VHS Preservation Society is if it's the same one I'm thinking of, but I don't know. He may
I don't
have
know. There's just
stuff.
a bunch
I thought
of
he
Blu-rays.
did. Yeah.
But they had a copy of a movie that Vinegar Syndrome had on their table that they restored. So I look at that and I go, that's bullshit. And I don't like that.
No, it's not cool.
No. So that's where I stand on bootlegs. Make it movies that are never getting the release. Clown House, put that bitch on Blu-ray. Like nobody cares. Nobody's making money except you. So good for you. But, that's where I stand.
Okay. And I, to that point about physical media and it probably doesn't mean who put out Barbarian? Was that Paramount or?
It was Warner Brothers, I think.
So to Warner Brothers, the physical media
that doesn't sound right because they're releasing like Trainee Day and all this shit on 4K. You might be right. I don't know. Barbarian was on HBO, so I think it might be Warner Brothers.
So these big, huge companies, they don't care. But like, to your point, you mentioned Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Arrow, Cauldron
Dream Factory. Yeah.
They all cater to you and me, right?
Yeah.
And there's enough of you and me to buy out their entire stock. So that they're the perfect like footprint because they're not this giant media conglomerate.
Right.
Which I love boutique labels, by the way.
Hell yeah.
My wife, not so, she didn't love them as much as I do. Okay, that's all the controversy. The rest of the questions are just so fun. We're just a hug. Favorite costume or mask or prop from a horror film? I had to adjust that question multiple times.
Damn, you caught me off guard on that one. Favorite prop or mask or?
Yeah, I like to go all dark and then go right back into.
Leatherface. Love the mask for Leatherface.
Man, that mask got trapped. The last picture I ever saw of the original mask, it was like dark brown and it looked like it was gooping off of the.
Oh, I've never seen a photo of it.
It just got ruined. Like, I mean, that whole production, I think it was a miracle that they made it out of it alive, like with the conditions and stuff. So I think somebody just threw it in a drawer or a pile of shit and it just rotted.
I believe it.
All right. Three films you think every horror fan should see.
Lovely Molly.
Wow. Oh, wow. What a pull.
Dude, that's my number one recommendation for anybody.
Really?
People ask me what's a movie that made me afraid. That's the movie that made me afraid.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's weird though. Like nobody talks about it.
Except, no, and it sucks. It's so good. The second one is Possession from 1981 with
I just watched that like a month or two ago.
Good.
It's good, but man, I did not enjoy it. Like there's not a scene in that movie where I was like, man, this is fun.
Yeah, no, it's not a fun movie. It's dreadful.
It is. but it is so good. Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5 on my Letterboxd because I think it is an amazing feat of filmmaking, and it is really expertly done. But I was like, I didn't have fun like at all with
Yeah.
this. Very dark.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna say 2 more just because
Yeah,
Taking
go
a
ahead.
Deborah Logan and
Hell
Brave
yeah.
Encounters.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, so you're cool with found footage.
Yep. Sure am.
You're my people. All right. Good found footage is real good, and bad found footage is
It's real bad.
real bad.
Yep.
Dude, and nobody knows anything about I'm speaking of normies here, okay?
You're good.
Like,
You're good.
nobody knows anything of Taking of Deborah Logan except for that the big
Dude.
mouth.
And that movie is stressful. When I first watched it, the shotgun scene outside and shit, and I was like, oh fuck, what is happening? And like they're going up in the attic and that old woman's in there and like she's like naked and shit. I think she was naked. I don't know. I could just be making that
You
part
could have
up,
projected it. You just I want to see
Yeah.
an old naked lady.
Yeah, that movie is a stressful, like fast-paced time, believe it or not.
That is one of the best. I did think it was a really good kind of like, it's a good horror movie, but it's also like a really good, I don't know, it's a good filming of like mental, like this just mentally, someone like mentally deteriorating and having mental issues. I there's a few films that I think really do that well. That's one of them. And I think it maybe even does that better than the horror stuff, to be honest, because like you said, it's super tense. Like, but there's really only a few moments I could think of where I was like, man, this is very horror.
Yeah.
But those are great picks. And Grave Encounters is just fun as hell. The second one gets a little crazy.
Yeah,
but
I
still
was
fun.
too high for it. But it was, that first one's good though. It's gold for sure.
It's creepy. If y'all like found footage, go watch both of those, Taking of Deborah Logan and Grave Encounters. They're both streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I think Shudder right now. Not Grave Encounters, but I think Taking Deborah Logan is.
Grave Encounters is either on Tubi or Prime.
It's something.
Last time I watched it, I don't know. Go watch
Prime.
All right. And now the question that's in honor of you: 2 movies everyone should watch during the Halloween season.
Okay. Ooh, damn. Hold on. I don't want to go basic. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Because Trick or Treat, not the Sammy Kerr one, but the Michael Daltrey.
Yeah.
Daltrey, I think is his name. Masterpiece of a Halloween movie. Definitely gets you in the Halloween spirit. Yeah.
Follow the rules and
Yeah. And then The Barn. Let's throw out an independent movie. The Barn is fucking great, dude.
Right
that
behind
is such
you.
a great feeling Halloween movie. It's a classic.
I love The Barn. I love The Barn too as well, but the first one's really kind of hits that sweet spot. Like it was just right for me. Yeah. Barn 2 sort of gets bigger and scope and everything, and it was awesome too. Don't get me wrong, I'm not shit talking, but the first one just hit that.
Oh yeah,
no budget nostalgia button. Let's see. For me, I mean, Trick or Treat's great, but House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%.
Every October.
Yep, definitely an October film. What a perfect October film.
And I think I'm going to throw this one out there since you are found footage brethren as well.
Okay.
The House is October built.
Yeah, dude. That movie's great. That's another movie that doesn't get talked about enough. That was a cool ass movie.
I love it. The fact that there was a sequel made my wife angry. She's like, why would this girl go along with these dumbasses after this fact? And then she's like, if they make a third one, I am not watching it because that would be so unbelievably stupid. But I just like them because there's something about you don't even need the gore and the action or anything. It's just something about the set pieces that gets me in that Halloween mood. And more than House of a Thousand Corpses having all the gory stuff, it's that they're getting together on Halloween night. They're putting all these goofy masks. They're singing their dumb songs and banging on the table. And it's that stuff,
It's great. Just to put out another movie, Hell House LLC.
Yeah, dude. The first one especially.
Yes, like, the first one's wonderful.
Second one, I rewatched the second one recently, and I had talked shit on it for years, and it's I don't think it's bad anymore. I think it's okay. It's definitely not the first one.
Nope.
The third one is completely.
I didn't even mess with the third one, so
it's unwatchable. Okay, it turns into like some weird superhero.
Oh no,
battle
with that shit.
Yeah. But there's a show now. They're making a show now, a series.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
I think it's supposed to explain the origin of the Abaddon Hotel.
Okay.
And it's either on Shudder or Scream. I don't remember which one. Screambox or Shudder. I'll watch it, but I will talk shit if it's like the third one, because that one was objectively bad. All right, final question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to an independent artist, or in your case, like a filmmaker who really wants to make a movie, but they're just sitting there and they're like, I don't know what to do?
Just fucking do it. I think that's the easiest thing to say, because that's what I did. I just found friends. I paid money. Don't look at this as you're going to make money on it, because you're not, period. Even going to conventions and selling the movie, it's not about making the money. It's about getting your movie out there. It's about getting your name out there. Are you doing this because you love cinema, or are you doing this to make money? I'm doing this because I love cinema and I want to be a part of that world. So I'm making it a part of my world. And that's the ultimate question that I think you should ask yourself. If you're doing it to make money, you're not doing it for the right reason, but hopefully you could do that. But my big goal is I try not to ask people for money and try to do it all out of my own pocket. And, if you need to do Indiegogo, fucking do it. Because as long as you're making your art and showing people that you want to make this art and be passionate about it, that to me is all that matters.
I love it.
Yeah.
I people don't know, but I podcast to get rich. So I run a convention to get rich, because both of those things will make you money. Woo,
yeah.
never, but it's all fun.
Yeah, man.
Well, Kyle, any plugs you want to throw out here? I know we've got the Facebook link and the Instagram handle in the ticker there, but anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, obviously follow my stuff at Night Art Productions. That's Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to follow Cocaine Culture on Facebook, Instagram. They're Co-Culture on Facebook because of censor shit. And make sure to keep up with Alice Winkler and Brian Papandrea. Brian Papandrea makes his own movies. He has a new movie called Spooky Dookie. Super fun, funny movie. Definitely pick that shit up. He's rockbottomfilms.com. You can find all his movies there. And Alice Winkler is just an amazing person, and she's doing so many great films out there. So make sure to give her a follow if you aren't already. I'm sure I'm missing somebody else I should be plugging right now, and I apologize. But yeah, I think that's... Come buy my movie. That's all I want.
Do it. You guys go buy Kyle's movie so you can come to Bride of FrankenCon. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Kyle. Thanks so much, man. We'll do this again. I had a lot of fun talking. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks for doing it. And everybody else, you what did the Hulkster say? Take your vitamins, say your prayers, and stay spooky, my dude.